I call to order the Tuesday, October 8th CSD Board of Directors meeting at 7:01. Pledge allegiance. Oh, yeah, sorry.
There's no flag.
No, but we're gonna still do it.
No, not.
We're gonna all pretend. To return to where it usually is. Alright. Ready? Set. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Eric, we miss you. Okay. Any changes to the agenda?
Or should we just mention that we canceled, or no? That we did not have the session?
Yeah.
No, there's no changes, so.
Okay.
Can I suggest one thing? We want to move the fire chief ahead, unless you want to sit here and listen to all of our really exciting stuff that's going on.
Whatever you guys like, I'm here for you.
Well, do you think that
We'll
we're...
switch H and I.
Yeah, I'm just saying because it's a little bit of a different meeting tonight without Eric being here, and I just
Well,
thought it'd be nice.
we don't have a lot of things to go through except when we get to the fire department.
Right.
I mean, I think the district manager report should be pretty
Okay.
quick.
Yeah,
We've already wasted more time than anticipated.
I said...
No changes, no changes.
Okay. I'll adopt the agenda. We don't have a closed session, so...
Get rid of C and D.
Yep. And now we're in the open session again.
That's correct.
Close that off. Consent calendar.
No questions.
I don't have any questions. Move to approve.
All second.
Any comments from the public on the consent calendar?
Nope.
Okay.
You
All
sure?
in favor?
I'm positive.
Aye. Passes. Awesome. Public comments on the agenda?
You got us excited.
Or not on the agenda, comments for, that's fine.
Or not, yeah, you're right. All right, district matters.
I think it'll be about it.
Yep.
You guys all do.
It's kind of a peeve. It's the second time I've heard about the permit process for the county holding things up.
We don't know if there was an update since Friday.
Yeah,
I think we would have heard about it.
We would have heard that,
yeah,
right?
you would have.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I don't think there's any progress.
Okay. We're trying. We're trying to get the
Appreciate
box.
that. Thank you.
Sorry.
Gab was in there too.
Tiffany, thank you again for making your
Right.
head against the wall, the payroll. I'm sorry about, if there's anything that we could do, we would do it.
Thank you for being the good cop.
It wasn't in every meeting. I need their return.
All right, and then any questions, well, which I can't really answer,
No, I
on
do.
the service agreement that you want noted.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
It's the same that
So-
we normally do, right?
Right.
And it's just the basic charge.
Where are we talking about?
The
service agreement?
agreement with CSA.
Are we in fire department?
Oh, we're not, we
matters
haven't, have we completed district
No,
matters?
that's
the
staff report under
It's under this
district manager.
it's-
I guess that would go over to fire.
They're kind of combined to both.
It slides right in.
Slides right in.
Okay, so I think we reviewed the district manager report,
Okay, so
right?
we're good with the
So
district
now
manager,
we've
we're moving
reviewed
into-
that, so we can move on to ours.
Okay, should we have?
All right.
Fire department.
Aren't you glad we skipped ahead? All right, we're ready for it.
fire district report?
We
or
are.
Or are we
We are
on the
on-
other one? the
We are
discussion?
on, I-1, just
But we
fire
could
department
be.
district matters, but you can choose between 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Well, since I don't.
He's only gonna do. He's gonna do.
Well, okay, so I'd like to do 3 and 4.
Okay.
Okay.
So are we ready for 3?
Yes.
Sure.
So this is a request to increase the paramedic tax in conjunction with the potential contractor service with Central to provide the fire protection services. So and I'm not sure how much history or do you know about the paramedic tax, how it actually works here. So the paramedic tax is basically, oh, I'm sorry. Is that mine?
We forgive both of you.
We have an exclusive operating area that covers the CSA 13 in Marinwood and City of Centerville proper. So there's that district there. The paramedic tax involves everybody in that. Right now, the paramedic tax, it's $108 in the City of Centerville. It's $80 here, and there's one other, I think the CSA is a little bit higher than that. So we're going to come back and ask to be on par with everybody else as we move forward. That's what we're asking for. Obviously, it hasn't not kept up with inflation, and there's a lot of issues with it also. So that's what we're asking for support in the future. That we're probably going to come back to that, and that's kind of like the main discussion point on there. And I'm curious to see if anybody has any questions regarding that or any conversation around that at all, to be able to discuss that with you in this format.
I think for me, if we're gonna, it like makes sense to raise it equal if we're all gonna be working across the board potentially. Is it, so that $20, is that per parcel? Is it like?
It is per parcel.
Okay,
Unless
so-
you're commercial, then it's 0.4 cents per square foot or something like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's $20 is what it is, the difference on there.
And how would that impact, like, what, does that have any impact whatsoever on things like, equipment here, anything like that? Like where, I guess I don't necessarily,
Well, and that's one of the things, right? Like right now, you'll get any benefits, what San Rafael gets, you get the same benefit, only you're not paying much
Right.
here.
so it would basically be the same stuff, we're paying a little bit more.
Correct, however, we're taking a little bit, I mean, we are buying new monitors for everybody. So that's a little bit over $500,000 that we're looking at, that we're purchasing here before the end of the year. We're looking for, obviously the paramedic differential that we pay for you guys to have a paramedic here. So those are the things that we're augmenting as far as the specifically the paramedic tax there. And then some support on there. One of the things that we've noticed is that we're not getting the level of paramedics that we used to get. Right now, we essentially get brand new paramedics that are coming out of school, and this is general, this is not just specific to Marinwood or to San Rafael, but putting more emphasis and more support for those paramedics in there, potentially doing extended fire academy, extended FTO time, field training officer time. So all that stuff is somebody that we could pay to be able to do that, but certainly for the Marinwood Fire District would benefit from that, from having that experience here.
Okay.
And one of the, currently we are doing, not around recruiting. We have one gentleman that's interested, however, he's basically in paramedic school right now. And I told him as soon as he gets done with medical school, give me a call, and we're gonna do some kind of internship to be able to get him back on par. So I do see us changing from a quickly get him to, and we have changed. COVID kind of drove us to quickly, let's get somebody on board. We're gonna do some minimal type of training, changing that culture to a good amount of training, good emphasis on culture and how we do things and the medicine that we provide here, and then send them out. So you will see, we want a good quality paramedic that comes out of there.
Right.
We do see that there's a dramatic change in cardiac save rates when we have good training behind it and their justification, their data behind that, rather than somebody just has a cert. So, and I've spoken to a lot of people folks like that involved at different agencies. So I do want to be, like, it is my desire to be at the forefront of good quality care.
Right.
And also, that on the EMS side and certainly prevention and preparation on the fire side.
Right. Thank you very much. I
Sure.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so specifically, this is just a request, but we're not voting to put it on, it's just this is the initial discussion.
Correct.
Okay.
And then just kind of open the discussion that way. One of the things as we move forward to have more conversations around some kind of either drug cards agreement or fee for service or any number of things that we could talk about is to be able to have that support on there. It really solidifies that we are working together towards the same environment and having the same direction and overall goal.
Seems perfectly reasonable.
This is, I'm gonna assume this is leading up, because since we can't get it on this ballot for November, in the next in 2 years' time, it would have to go on the ballot.
Sometime during that time, for sure. So we do have to do our own internal analysis to figure out when's the optimum time for that. And then once we figure that out, then it'll go on the ballot, so.
Okay.
So it might not be in November, it might be like,
Too late.
not this November,
Yeah.
but not even next November, because there is another off November election.
Yeah, potentially it could be,
We're gonna
and
have to do a special.
we don't want to necessarily do a special
Yeah.
election because the cost is really
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
So we're really like trying to figure out where the optimum time is on that. Now, right now, we have, I think, enough funding for additional 1 year or 2 years, and after that, we do go to negative.
Okay. That would not be good. You ask good questions. Thank
Any other
Any other
questions
questions?
on that?
Okay.
And then we can do your report, but I think that Eric mentioned that if we wanted to start the approval process or had any questions for the other two, that you possibly might be able to answer, which is our agreements.
Actually,
That's
not,
why it's,
yeah, I actually don't have the information on that, other than, obviously, we get money for that, so,
So
you
do
know,
it?
so for me, it's,
pretty
let's do it as soon as
straightforward,
possible.
you. Yeah,
Rather than delaying it, would be the optimum. But I could have, you know, certainly it's a good chunk of money that we look at for the service area that we're providing on there. So, you know, without that, obviously there's a little bit of a deficit that we'd have within the fire department budget. So obviously we don't want to risk that. But the overall CSA contracts are for the most part decent contracts and solidified. So I would highly encourage us, my recommendation is that we approve both of those.
yeah, there's been an increase, 2.5 and 3.5%.
And this is the yearly.
This is the
Right,
yearly
it's just kind
increase,
of-
yeah,
it's
it's
cool,
it's just,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
so, that's, I just know that, that's what he told me, so. So if you guys did have any questions or
I don't-
discuss it or.
I looked it over, it's
Yeah,
very
it
much
seems
the
pretty
same as
straightforward to me, yeah.
previous
Well, it's
year and
just
the
the
year before.
mathematics.
Yeah, it's the
whatever's gonna
mathematics
happen.
goes out every year, yeah, to
Correct.
pay for increases in cost.
Right.
Alright,
Can I make a motion on, or do one at a time?
yes, we do.
Yep.
Okay. I move to, that the agreement between the County of Marin and Marinwood Community Services District for fire protection and emergency services to County Service Area 13 be approved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you had to ask the,
Oh,
Before we say aye, do
I'm
you
just-
have any comments?
thank you, thank you. Nice.
Alright, do you wanna do another one?
Sure. I move that the agreement between the County of Marin and Marinwood Community Services District for the fire protection and emergency services for the juvenile hall site be approved.
Second.
Oh, there you go, Lisa.
Public comment?
I'll say one thing on that,
Yeah.
it says juvenile hall in there, but where does St. Vincent's fall into that, cause that's county property? Do we get any money from St. Vincent's or?
No, so that's a one that we need to negotiate in the future. Right now, believe it or not, it's kind of no man's land out there.
really?
Yeah,
But it's
but
never been picked up, huh?
not
Other than doing burns once a year?
well, we respond to calls out there.
Yeah.
23 years we've been going out there, just was reading the board pack, I'm like,
But
it
it's,
just says juvenile hall, it doesn't say anything about St. Vincent's.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
County
and
agreement.
especially since they might be building on that and giving us housing, we
Correct,
should probably have an agreement with them before they do that.
correct.
but that's
That's
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
in the
he's
future.
just commenting
future.
that it doesn't fit into that.
It's just,
That's a good call.
it's like something
It's
that
a
we'll talk to
wonder.
Eric about, we'll put on
Wait.
board members' item of
Brought
interest
up.
Say that
request
again?
for future agenda items.
It's my understanding that the county property, maybe we should get more.
Yeah, so
It's- It's owned by the county, it's county owned property, that is my understanding.
Right.
And you guys were talking about the juvenile hall area, that's a county property. My question was, why is that not lumped into that, or where does that
Is
sit?
that a separate piece, right?
It's a separate piece.
But it's not within.
It's not, but there is no, what they're pointing out is that we have no agreement. We respond as a Marinwood Fire Department being, I'm assuming because of our proximity,
Correct.
right? But we're not reimbursed for going out there. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, that's what we believe at this point.
Right.
Now, it would probably take a little bit digging, which I'm in the process of digging some more, because that is, there was no man's land at one point. That's gonna be high value area.
Right.
That the housing goes in there, and we wanna get the forefront of that.
Right.
It's never been annexed into Marinwood Community Services District, so it's on the other side of the freeway.
Yeah.
It's never been part of the district, so.
And it hasn't been
What do
officially
you
part
mean
of
across
CSD.
the freeway?
And it's
Over
never
San
been
Francisco.
part of San Rafael
It's not on
either,
there.
because San Rafael stops at Lucas Valley.
Yeah.
No man's land.
So St. Vincent's property, where the churches and all that stuff?
But you guys keep saying juvenile hall.
No,
Yeah,
so
so-
juvenile hall is included. Why do we not have an
Why
agreement
is it
about, with the county about the St. Vincent's property?
Because St. Vincent's is not owned by the county. St. Vincent's is owned by Catholic Charities.
And that could be the reason why it is, but
It's not, so that's why I think I'm lost, is Catholic Charities
So none of us
own-
knew that.
But if
Well,
even if it's owned by them,
Catholic
they don't have jurisdictional authority over fire protection. So,
But I think they're part of Marinwood.
No, they're not.
No.
no,
Absolutely not.
So
yeah,
then we assist, just like we assist somewhere
exactly,
else.
but there's no formal, what I believe that is that there's no formal contract that covers that area. We had just done it for years, I mean, ever since you've been here, probably for years. Yeah, so that's something we need to fix, and mind you, I'm sure at the time that we did run a whole lot of calls there. It's a high threat area, but it wasn't a whole lot of calls. Well, now with the
But-
potential of future development.
Do we go to a lot of calls at St. Vincent's?
We go to every call at 911 gets dispatched on 58 goes, and there's not a whole lot that get generated from there.
But that's do we go to St. Vincent's a lot?
I wouldn't say a lot, you know, but we don't go to juvenile hall either very much, but
we get 700,000 calls for that.
No, I know, that's why I'm just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Because you guys kept pointing that way, and yet you guys kept saying juvenile hall, so I'm like, why are you pointing that way, and then we're talking about this way? And
Yeah, and there's the 3 sections. There's CSA 13, Lucas Valley, juvenile hall, and then this no man's land out in St. Vincent that really.
It's half county and half Catholic Charities.
Well, it's
So it would be
Yeah, that is-
considered
that
Santa
is-
Fe.
I don't think it's considered center hub.
San Rafael cuts right at Lucas Valley.
Yeah.
That's the border.
So what I would like to do is that we task Eric to figure that part out, because if we're losing money on that, we need to figure out some kind of contract there.
I put it
And
in.
this meeting, we get a job.
Even if it's because you're.
Uh,
Because it is gonna be a big deal if they develop that place there.
Well, and same thing, if they start building additional housing out in that
By
juvenile
juvenile
hall.
hall, juvenile hall, so
Right.
now I'm
That's
caught
what's
up,
okay.
now I'm caught
But
up.
I mean,
But in theory, that one's already got a contract. This one over here does not, as far as my understanding that I looked, there
But
is
this
no.
contract doesn't include housing, this contract.
right,
includes-
so
Well,
when
and
housing
then
is built, this
that's-
contract will change.
It will have
Oh,
to
yeah.
change because if they have
But
the
that's,
houses that are taller than what we currently have, the guys need different equipment, right? If it's, like, what is your limit? A 2-story house, right? If they do stuff that is 3,
No, it doesn't make any difference. Because they've gone 3 stories to the one out on our property here.
Yeah.
They're going 3 stories high.
And they'll
The
be,
new development that they want to put in.
we don't need a ladder over there?
get a ladder truck.
so ladder truck, so even like I'll tell you right now, North Gate, where
Yeah.
they're doing all that development, it's all
Yeah.
7 stories. There's a justified ladder truck there.
I clearly,
Buy a house on the bottom 3 floors.
Well, the reason is, to be honest with you, is that those buildings are meant to shelter in place in some of that area up there. So there's areas of separation on those higher structures there. So,
I like my 1 story.
so that's why, and you'll see these wood frame buildings and you're going like,
shelter in place like while it's on fire?
what's that?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, it is.
That's what it
No,
really
that's
makes
what it
sense
is.
when I
No,
read
that's-
it.
that's
You're saying
exactly-
that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is, shelter in place, and you'll usually see them around elevator shafts. There'll be the staircase in there.
Yeah.
In theory, they're usually wider and they're meant for you to shelter in place there until somebody comes and gets you. Now, and this is the reason, because
They
we,
run fast.
yeah, we don't have enough resources to be able to take everybody out of there, so the more, and those are the way those buildings are being, and that's why the reason that, you know, you would think that 7-story building, a lot of 7-story buildings within the North Bay would justify a ladder truck being in here, it does not. And this is, so we've gone back and forth with, and we had to hire a contractor to do that evaluation for us, because I kept on saying we need a ladder truck, well, apparently I don't need a ladder truck, so. Down here.
Okay. That was educational. I learned something.
I'm not sure I liked that piece of the education.
You did not.
Maybe not agree with you. but-
Yeah, no, and certainly when if stuff pops up here, then obviously we're gonna fight that fight also.
Oh, clearly,
Yeah.
alright.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes.
Recording it now?
All right.
So all responses, am I able to end it up?
Yeah.
I did. Thank you. You sure I got permission?
We don't fight.
Thank you.
We got-
Nice response.
Thank you.
So this is the call responses, and your time is
Time is?
5 minutes, 36 seconds. Rated 58.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you, guys.
So these are the calls. There was 104 calls, emergency calls in September. A little over half the calls were medical assist, and 58 responded to one fire each in Novato, and Centerville. And then you see that what the breakdown is of the calls there. And then some of the other work that's being done, specifically to some of the work that fire prevention has been doing. We did 10 acres on Blackstone, some of the defensible space there. We did cleaned out along Queenstone after the fire there and took that advantage of that to be able to clear that fire trail up there, so that's been cleared out. We finished, we did some HOA inspections over across from Marinwood, and then finished up the seasonal inspections were completed for the whole district also this year. So I think we did a lot of work this year, obviously on that fire that we had a while back. Was that in September? June. I think it was in June. You know, complicated fire, took a while for our folks to find it, but at the end, one of the things that we saw is obviously we're well coordinated. And obviously the defensible space around the structures allowed for a buffer where we didn't have to evacuate or do anything like that. We felt really comfortable and controlled. It was kind of a controlled environment, even though we had to wait a little bit of time for the resources to get there, meaning specifically for air resources to show up on there. We were fairly confident we were going to catch it, even though, you know, literally about a mile or 2 miles of hose to even get to it.
Yeah, it was about a mile and a half, 2 miles downtown.
So that's lay a mile hose before we see fire. So it was a long way. It was a lot of work that was done by a lot of folks out there doing the work and stuff like that. But really hats off to them for the hard work that they put into that, and obviously the fruits of our labors that our neighborhood is still here, and we didn't even have to evacuate one person.
Who calls in the air support?
So it's the incident commander that requested, and then goes to the ECC, which is the Emergency Command Center, the new one here in Centerville. And then they request it. Now, it's the resources for air resources is a little bit different, where we need to make those resource requests fairly fast. So one of the things I did, I was on scene, we requested those resources, and I called back to the ECC to say, hey, can we have an early up? An early up basically means that we try to get them at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we had a conversation back and forth with the division chief, saying he wouldn't release him because if he starts at 8 o'clock, that means there's 2 hours short time at the end of the day. Well, at the end of the day, that's high burn time in California. So if I short him out, I'm shorting him 2 planes and 2 helicopters at that point, because that's what we had responding to this call. Well, it's two planes, 2 helicopters, and an air attack. So I was gonna short them all those resources at the end of the day when they probably more likely need them somewhere in the state. So, okay, okay, I get it, but can you hurry up still?
We do 8:30.
8:01.
So we did get those resources, fast, but once again, once we got those resources on there, we did.
Done,
Yeah, it was done, and we did the close day, and, you know, our folks were there for a couple of days after that also, to make sure it was completely cold. But, yeah, extremely proud of our folks for the hard work, and, you know, these guys literally hiking in there with zero visibility, because it was in the middle of the night. They could see the fire, but they couldn't see how to get there.
That's right, because it was last meeting,
Yeah,
Yep.
as it's all coming back.
yeah, yeah. And that's basically the report I have, if anybody wants to discuss anything or anything like that.
Any questions,
Questions?
comments?
I mean, just out of curiosity, would you guys have, you know, like after a fire like that, I'm sure you kind of go back and reevaluate. Is there anything that you would have done differently, not from your guys' standpoint even necessarily, but like in terms of a fire prevention standpoint, in terms of fire roads, anything like that? All the roads were passable to,
Yeah.
you can't get directly there, but in and around.
Yeah, and I had discussions with Eric that morning as we were punching a dozer line from, I forget the name of the trail to the top to bring it down there.
I think it's called a Whopper.
What is it?
Chicken shack.
Yeah,
Oh,
chicken
chicken-
shack.
oh, that
So
one.
we're gonna punch on some dozer lines under there, and I just told him this is what I'd like to do, in case there's any objections or something like that, is put that down there. So that basically highlights that we probably need a little more fire roads in there,
Okay.
to be able to get in there. Obviously, that's really cost prohibitive, and, you know, NWA doesn't cover those type of costs in there.
Okay.
So I think in the future, try to figure out some kind of funding mechanism or grants out there to be able to put some more fire roads out there, because that allows access to that kind of area there.
Sure.
And then the other thing is, working with the sheriff department to do more patrols up there, because the gentleman was actually a homeless gentleman that
Right.
everybody knew about that was living up there. So we probably need to do a better job at patrolling that area. And then the Novato patrol, the Novato ranger told me that he actually rides his motorcycle up there to patrol that area. And I think we probably need to do the same thing on this side also.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the learning things on there.
Right.
As far as the command and control of the whole fire, it went well. It was well coordinated, a lot of resources that we got. And I think we even got a strike team out of Sacramento later that afternoon to help with a CAL FIRE strike that came in that afternoon also. So there was a lot of research that came in to help.
Did you guys have communication issues up there?
Not a whole lot, no.
I was kind of hoping yes. So we could like say yet again, like Verizon, T-Mobile,
We get a
everybody
tower.
need
Well, already doesn't,
cell
we don't worry
phone.
about that.
But you know what
I
I
don't
mean?
think they're
Because like
working
the
off their
last
cell phones.
fire, you guys we couldn't tell people to evacuate and stuff properly because we had cell phone issues when you guys were battling, and so we've been
Yeah, I know that.
hitting and trying to get better communication to let people know what they need to do.
Yeah.
Not that I want you guys not to be able to communicate, but it would like reinforce our point.
But I don't think they use.
I know.
No, but I do, I mean, as a county fire chief, we all agree with that, and we're all trying to figure out, because we're not the only jurisdiction that has those issues, so Southern Marine's really bad down there, so we're trying to do like a joint effort to try to push, telephone companies to put more towers in.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can see why it's difficult,
Yeah.
even for us, as we did our siren study, the amount of sirens that we need in this specific area is high, just because of the mountainous
Yeah.
area, so it's just problematic. The good part is that most of it's in the valley, we're in the lower side. If we were up higher, that becomes a little more dangerous for us, a little bit as far as for evacuations like that becomes a little more dangerous. In the valley, we basically need to travel a mile down and we're at the freeway. So, I mean, it's a little bit better situation, but out of everything, that's the good part of it. So.
Oh, do we have termites? Wonderful.
Just one.
Another thing that we need to do. Thank you.
All right.
Great, thank you very much,
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank
Thank you
you.
again for your service.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions from the public on the
No,
fire
that's it.
department matters?
The last one spiraled, I'll keep it to myself.
All right, thank you, chief.
Yeah.
Chief.
Thanks.
We can stay and hear the great park and rec matters,
Where are you going?
or you can enjoy your evening and drive safe.
Yeah, my wife went to go see Wicked in the city, so.
Ooh,
So-
enjoy.
Alright, well,
So
Oh, so you don't have to rush home, so you.
No, I don't have to rush. She knew I was gonna come this meeting, she said, oh, that's a great, yeah, I get to go with my sister. Yeah, you get to go with your sister.
Oh, you don't get to go with her? Okay.
No, no.
I was gonna say, enjoy the show.
No, I get to go sit at home and figure out what's for dinner.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
Wait, you don't even wanna stay?
Good night.
Sorry.
Take it easy.
Good night.
Have a good night, thank
Have a
you.
quiet night.
Alright, floor is all
Floor's mine.
yours.
Well, I actually didn't attend the last Parks and Rec Commission meeting because I got in this horrific car accident on my way home before I came back. I was okay, everyone was okay, thankfully, but, so I wasn't there, I'm looking over the minutes, sounds like a pretty mellow, meeting.
Not,
Okay, do you want to?
there wasn't-
One of these?
No, I was not, I did not get responded to by our fire department on the side of the road. But,
I was there.
oh yeah, you were.
Glad you're doing better.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a lot to report. There were not a lot of major items. We talked pickleball, which ironically I had seen you guys out at the courts.
That's right, like that day.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, we just talked about how they, correct me if I'm wrong, you figured out a way to do 2 pickleball courts on the tennis courts?
Yes, and I will touch on that in my.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot, that was in there.
No,
That was pretty much, that was the big thing, nothing else really comes to mind for me.
Cool, well,
Alright,
I can go right into my report. I will touch on pickleball in a second, but, yeah, so since we last met, we had our annual fall art show on September 21st, which was I would say our most like well-attended art show we've had so far, which is great. I mean, they've always been enjoyable, but now we've actually got crowds coming, and it's becoming a bigger event, which has been great. And
It looks like there was some more sales, I'm looking at
yes, we did.
Make bills pay.
We have been selling more artwork. I think at the shows, which is awesome. And yeah, it's become like it's gaining traction over the years, and people come from pretty far away to come see it. So it's kind of a unique thing, and it's a lot of work to put on a one-day art show. A lot of art shows last for several weeks, but I also think you get everybody that would come to it all kind of come at the same time, and it ends up being a little bit more fun as opposed to just walking through by yourself to some
Yeah.
quiet thing all by So it's a pretty fun event, and I'm really glad that we do them. We do them twice a year, and it's been really good. And I want to thank just Susan Press again for continuing to put on a really high quality show. It's all kind of invitation only, and she finds really good artists, and they bring out some really good work. So is that thing?
It's a termite.
It's a termite. We'll get there's no wood
is
in
it
here.
a term? It's a term.
But anyways, that was a great event. This Friday will be our annual Halloween Harvest Festival from 5 to 6:30 in the park. And the rec staff have been hard at work getting the last preparations done. But there'll be a bunch of carnival games. We've got a big pumpkin patch that the Lions Club they've very generously donated the pumpkins to us this year again, and they're going to be manning the pumpkin patch in at least one booth for us. And that's a huge event. It's probably our biggest kids event every year. We keep trying to find ways to spread out to make the lines a little bit more manageable and not have such a crowd. So we're being strategic, but it's a really popular event, and we're looking forward to having another good Halloween time. The recreation staff are going to be showing up to this event as garden gnomes. So if you want to see that, come out. Kids
Take
are
lots
out.
of pictures.
Yeah, we'll take lots of
You
pictures.
gotta take pictures.
Yeah.
Do you know if we get a lot of people outside of our community that comes in for that?
Yeah, it's a pretty big destination Halloween event. We are a little early on the Halloween season, and so a lot of times it's people's first event to come out to, and so we get a lot of people haven't hit that Halloween fatigue yet. So it's usually we get all sorts of random people that we don't know, which is great. And we put out our other materials for kind of promoting our other classes and events and stuff. So it's a good
Community
good
building.
time to do that, yeah, for sure. So that'll be a lot of fun this Friday. We had our last day of the pool season last Friday, and which is a little unfortunate with the hot weather going on right now.
This week.
It's not winter, why are you closed? That's why you can't win. But we had a great end of the season. The place just was like packed the last couple of weeks with all the hot weather. A lot of new families coming out, finding out about our program, finding out about our pool, and it was a good time. And everything went really well. It was a really good season. I'll be reporting on the numbers from the pool season as well as the summer camp season at the next meeting. But yeah, it was a really positive season. We had no major incidents or emergencies. We had a great staff and really good attendance at all of our programs. So I'm very, very happy with the season. Very proud of John Paul and his staff for kind of keeping things going really smoothly all the way to the end. So we all kind of sigh of relief at the end. I always sleep better when the pool's closed, so so I'm happy about that. Even if we're getting a lot of really irritated phone calls, like, what time are your hours today? It's like, oh, sorry. But
It's 100 degrees.
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Carolyn is still open, so it's fine. But, as previously mentioned, we are implementing the pickleball pilot program. It should be this week, maybe tomorrow or the next day. We will be putting temporary pickleball lines down on court 4, which is the tennis court closest to Miller Creek Middle School.
To Chris's classroom?
Yes, closest to Chris's classroom. And we can just perfectly fit 2 separate pickleball courts on that one tennis court on either side of the net, going the same direction as tennis play. So the net will be kind of the dividing line between, the tennis net will be the dividing line between the 2 pickleball courts, and there won't be like cross ball traffic going to the other tennis court unless people are like being crazy, which will probably happen. But so we're putting tape down, and I've done some research and found what's supposed to be a really good brand for being weatherproof and staying put for long periods of time. The only thing it doesn't protect against is if somebody doesn't like the idea and decides to like rip up our tape, which very well could happen. We'll just have to see what happens. But we'll probably use an old tennis player or something. I don't know. But we got 2 pickleball official nets, and that we're going to put out there that are mobile, that people can put in place when they want to play, and they can be stored on the side when tennis is being played. And so this is an open-ended pilot program. I didn't put end dates on it, and we're just gonna kind of see how things go, see what issues come up, see what kind of feedback we get. We did create a specific pickleball email address for people to send comments, questions, complaints, whatever to, that we can kind of just see sort of what's going on, and we'll put some signage up and
how do they register?
be sending people. There's no registration, there's no renting of anything, there's no signups. It'll be first come, first served. It'll be the way we're gonna run it, and we might find out that we need to do something different based on the feedback we get. Is just that we'll operate the same way that people would operate when they want to come play tennis. The way you wait for somebody to finish their match, and then the next group is to go on, and we'll have signs posted, kind of how the timing on that is sort of just pretty standardized. How that works, and we'll put that up there. And I assume there'll be a few hiccups and a few people that are unhappy, and we'll just kind of see what happens. But we're hoping that we can gather some feedback and find out whether this is a thing that makes a lot of sense for us to do permanently, or whether it's something that maybe isn't the right fit for our courts and our situation. So we'll just kind of see what happens, and we'll keep the commission and the board apprised of sort of how that goes, and we'll just kind of play it by ear. So that should be implemented this week, and I'll keep everybody apprised as we go through that. That's sort of all I want to touch on the recreation side of my report. Is there any questions about recreation? I'll head up to Parks Maintenance.
I do have some questions that I got from sitting on the sidelines while somebody was doing water polo. I had parents asking me again why the pool closes so early.
Yeah.
And there was requests to not necessarily extend it through the winter, but just maybe looking at extending it a little bit longer in October, especially since we're having more warmer Octobers. Maybe a week or 2, I don't know. But I was wondering if there was a way that we could kind of do a week-by-week assessment, but I do know that there's issues with the pool needing maintenance. I told people that the reason we close is maintenance and various things, and it's hard to get lifeguards and all those things. And so, that's part of it, but I was wondering if we keep having these really warm Octobers, is this something that we want to maybe consider, not necessarily continuing in past October, but maybe being able to go a little bit further in October?
Yeah.
I know you need your
all-
sleep, but.
No, it's all good questions. It's stuff that's come up over the years, and it's all, I mean, when it's hot out, everyone wants the
to
pool
be
open.
there, yeah.
When it's not hot out, we don't have anyone coming to the pool except,
Yeah.
you know, the handful of like really hardcore lap swimmers that unfortunately don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard, you really do need like a critical mass to cover the cost of staffing chemicals and the heating bill. So it all comes down to what's our appetite for sort of subsidizing the pool season, you know, the utilities and what goes into that. It is hard to staff the pool in the off season. Some years are better than others. Some years the full-time staff is out there just kind of like getting us through, and those are hours that the staff isn't doing what their job actually is. And not just sort of like those things come and go depending on the season. That there's no real built in the way to ensure you've got, you know, people that are seasonal and sort of passing through. The other thing is the weather is inconsistent in the off season or the fall season. We have had some really warm falls, but also some really some falls over the last couple weeks of the pool season had hardly anybody coming because it wasn't super warm. So it's one of those things that everyone comes out of the woodwork when the temperature's over 85. And so I mean it's a definitely valid question, and the pool season has shifted a few times since I've been here. We've moved it. We've shifted earlier, we've shifted later a couple times, just to kind of depending on what's going on the front end of the season and the back end, and for various things with weather and where the demand is. And so there's definitely no rule, like we need to keep it the same. It's definitely open to having that discussion. We do kind of look at a lot of those factors when we try to decide, you know, how we're going to approach the coming season, how we're going to do that. So it's definitely a discussion we can have going into planning for the next pool season.
And those people also said that they would pay more.
Yeah, we get that.
It wasn't a very large group, but I'm just saying.
For
I
the
just-
water polo or for?
No, they would pay more for this pool to be open later in October. So like, they bought memberships and they would pay more, maybe they were like, literally they were sitting there brainstorming for me. They were like, how about you have like regular membership and then you have like extended membership where you pay more. You wonder what the parents are talking about outside the pool while you're coaching.
Not paying attention, I know.
So just,
Oh, yeah, no,
I just
that
wanted
comes
to give you the feedback.
It comes with every season, and that's, yeah. And then there's the
So-
reality that not everyone realizes is that the only time that the pool is actually profitable is during the 9 weeks of summer,
Yeah.
which pretty much subsidizes the spring and the fall season
Yeah.
combined. So every day that we're open in the fall is like we're essentially depleting, you know, the coffers, whatever. So that's something that not everyone realizes.
Yeah.
You know, you get 16 more lap swimmers or something that's just like, you know, that doesn't anything for us in the grand scheme
Okay.
with the heat goes. But that's to say, our current pool season was decided, you know, X number of years ago based on, let's go a week here, let's go a week here. And so this is a discussion we want to keep on going when we open these sets.
Alright, yeah, just wanted to give you feedback, sorry.
And no, I appreciate that. Any other questions?
I'll just say, as somebody who runs a program down there, I just really appreciate what you guys do year in and year out. And it's very clear just because of how often I'm down there, when you guys as the staff up here have to step in and make sure that it's properly lifeguarded and things like that. And I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah. It's nice to have, we also have like 4 well, Carolyn is not like technically certified, but we have 4 lifeguards in our rec staff, 4 former and 3 current, which is like great, just that everyone understands the pool and all the inner workings of that, but also can step in, you know, when the time comes. It's a huge asset that not every rec department has. Just people like standing by thinking like, do that.
Just
So
jump in.
it is. I'm really grateful.
Not literally jump in.
They literally jump in, literally, yeah.
Hopefully not. Just
So, I mean, we do have plans, it's come up about putting trying to get on the calendar to do the reclass replastering of the pool.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I was getting worried that maybe we were too close to the season for the schedules, but I actually got a lot of, kind of informal quotes in the last couple weeks from the big companies that do commercial replastering jobs. And it sounds like it's, weather depending, it's definitely doable for us to get it done this off season.
Nice.
Before we open back up for, for the swim team in March. And so, Eric and I will be working on, we have to go through kind of some of the county requires of us, or some permitting and different things that have to go with that. But, it looks like what the different companies, their sort of informal quotes to us was sort of in line with what we were expecting in terms of cost. And there's just a few other things to kind of figure out, but then it looks like this is something we want to put together and get done. So we'll be working on that a lot. And we're ready to let you guys know what the
Which is
status is.
approximately what we put aside.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I mean within
Yeah.
within reason. So we're pretty close on our target on that. Thankfully. According to the company. So on the maintenance side. One exciting thing to report is we implemented, you guys approved this with the budget last June or whatever, but we officially implemented our new lead maintenance worker position this month, or end of last month, and I'm pleased to announce Esteban Chavez is our new lead maintenance worker, so we transitioned that position. We now have 2 parks maintenance worker 2 as it's called, and then 1 lead maintenance worker. And we're really excited about that. It's off to a great start. We have a lot of great plans, and it's been a really positive transition in the early days of that. So I'll more report as things go, but I'm really optimistic and really encouraged with how that's helped the dynamic of the parks meeting staff so far. So the staff's starting to work on our big turf rehabilitation treatment. Helping us get things ready for the Halloween Harvest Festival. We've got a whole slew of other fall projects we're getting on the calendar. And that's all I really wanted to report on. But if there's any specific questions about any parks meetings. Yeah.
When is the grass gonna get cut?
Like when are we mowing the lawn?
I know, because it's really long.
Well,
You're not
they
trying
mowed
to
the
through it?
lawn last week, and
I
again
noticed
this
a lot
week.
of soft spots too.
Soft spots.
Yeah.
The
over
usual
by
spot-
the tennis
The
courts.
usual spot to the west of the tennis courts that I think there's a natural.
Something's
actually a
going
natural
on.
spring in there.
Goes
On the big field or on the
No, by
like
the tennis court.
between the tennis courts and
The north side of the tennis court.
like between the gargle ball pit and the tennis courts,
Oh,
and then
okay.
heading out to the sidewalk.
Yeah, Alta, there shouldn't be, I mean, there might be a leak, shouldn't be, there's not a natural.
No, I've just,
Are you sure? It's always wet there. It's always wet there, buddy.
it was mushy.
That area is tricky because it's so shaded. It's like one of our most shaded areas on the lawn that we have, and so it might just be getting water a little bit. It's like one of those things that now that we don't have as much, I mean, it's been pretty hot, but
Voting natural spring for sure.
I mean, that'd be great. That'd be one less thing that we transparency now.
I think Chris and I both
Yes.
suggested.
I will look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that area is,
Oh, 'cause you guys are right.
notoriously challenging. We have to throw shade seed on that because of the number of trees that are there on that lawn. And dialing in, it's got a lot of foot traffic, but it also gets a lot of shade. And, I don't know, it's always a tricky spot. So we might be overwatering there right now.
No, it was
But the
just-
grass is getting mowed this week, so never fear. But,
I think the grass is about this long, you just clearing it.
It was fun to watch.
I will
If there were gnomes out there.
I will say once again, we had what I would consider more of the official Boulder, like opening recognition, whatever we want to call it, this past weekend. We were down in the picnic area here. That looked wonderful. It was really nice and shady on a very hot day. It was really like it showed up really well. And then when we all walked down to the boulder over next to the gargle ball pit,
Great.
some of us. It was really nice. There was, what do you think, at least 50 people
Oh, I
there?
think so, yeah.
It was really nice. It was a nice gathering. People were really commenting on how nicely placed it was, how nice the plaque was, how nice the physical rock was.
That's great.
And you had everything to do with all of that, so I wanna thank you and your staff very much.
And what a great community this is.
No, thanks for
That
taking
was-
that, I appreciate that. That's helpful to the staff.
Yeah, for sure, it was
The base
really,
of the ground.
really,
so
really
that
nice.
The community, the great community has a place to gather.
That's great.
I know.
Okay, I wanna just also congratulate SD
Yeah,
for his
Yes.
new position, and I'm hoping he supports you in it. And
Yeah.
gives your plate a little bit,
It's
so we
already,
can fill it with more stuff.
yeah, absolutely. No, it's already been really, really helpful to have, someone like, on my side of the, cause, kind of helping implement things, so it's been great.
Perfect, awesome, all right.
Alright, so should we,
Any public comment? No. Board members, items of interest, requests for future agenda items.
so we have the St. Vincent, figuring out what is the charity versus what is county, how can we get that covered in an agreement? And then,
You want that as an agenda item, or you want that as a request for Eric?
items, yeah.
But you
Items
want
of
it,
interest, it says board members' item of interest, then also request for agenda, I'm saying items of interest. That's an item of interest for us.
just to be followed up on.
Yeah, and then also.
Something else
the
is
other
on
is
there.
request.
about it, but it probably, I don't know.
I mean, it should be on there, but like, clearly, he's not gonna give it to us in the next month or so, but it should be something that we look into along with the funding, as Chief said, for more fire roads. Right? And then I should have
you want
asked.
Eric to look into funding for more for fire roads?
No, but
No.
working with Roman, right?
Right.
Roman said he was doing that, so.
And I think he's already,
He's
Eric,
already doing that. and
Eric
there's
said that
a-
there was, at the PNR, because the fire came up, I wanna say he had already talked about how he was,
looking
that was
at-
a conversation already
Okay.
beginning.
And then I guess, I had a question, maybe people can answer this. So we're just doing the paramedic tax for us, but not for CSA 13. So is CSA 13 being requested to increase theirs also?
It's for all of Santa Fe.
No.
No, San Rafael pays 108 currently.
We
We
pay
pay 80.
He's asking for us to discuss it going on the ballot.
for
For
Marinwood.
Marinwood.
For Marinwood.
But
Correct,
CSA
that's-
13 pays a little bit more than us, but not 108. So I'm wondering if they're also gonna go to them, to ask them for more money too,
That's a good
so that
question.
we're all on par. I'm happy for us to be on par, but I'm wondering if it would help that if they are also, and how do they do that?
They should be.
Right, because he
Okay.
did mention that they're also not at 108.
I mean,
Right.
they suppose, but I'm not sure what that has to do with us.
I don't know, I was, this is a
Just a
question,
larger-
it was just a larger
larger
question,
question.
yeah, sorry.
What I
Okay,
think-
so my question is do you want that as a future agenda item?
No, I just want it clarified.
No, it's
Okay.
a question, it's an item of clarification.
Yeah.
Whether or not it goes on a future agenda, depends
Yeah.
on if there's something to vote on.
Yeah, no, it's just things to.
We don't even get to
We don't get to vote.
vote on that. That's just a discussion, so.
Item of interest.
And,
We will have to eventually have to vote to put it on the ballot.
right.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, that all connects to part of the staff
Full
report
circle.
that was connected to the concept
Yeah.
of the future of the fire departments working together and things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a larger conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
At a later date.
All right, motion to adjourn
Sure, why not?
at 7:55.
Oh my God.